In this episode of Growing Your Sense of Self Through Self-Defense, we're going to explore quotations and affirmations around the concept of the sense of self. Now, affirmations and quotations necessarily have a limitation in how much they can help benefit the sense of self because they play at the rational level. And we've talked about multiple times, rational is the last thing that comes along when you're forming the sense of self. It's behind physical and emotional and spiritual. Finally, rational comes in a bit later. So to operate only at that level is less likely to be effective in creating change. But there can be benefits, especially with quotations or affirmations that really resonate within it, that somehow come to your core. You still have to act on them, and it may be tough to find reasons to act on them. Let me give an example of a very simple self-affirmation. Love myself. All right, it's a good thing to love one's self, but why? You always have to ask the why question. What would motivate you to love yourself if you think you are and feel you are deep down not lovable? There's not reason to love who I am. For a variety of causes, I don't love who I am. And to say love myself, that's not effective, really, in causing me to love myself. What do I do to love myself? Just love myself? And if my understanding of love is fouled up, and it's likely to be the case if I'm looking for affirmations like this, then even if you're successful in loving yourself, if you don't know what love means, it's not going to get you someplace positive. So quotations and affirmations, they can be effective, but they really need to resonate, and they need to help you take action. Just repeating the words like a mantra doesn't really get you someplace. So I'm proposed as an exercise to find quotations or affirmations that resonate with you, and something that you can embrace and that you believe will help you affect change. And as always, exercises are always optional. But let me give an example of quotations that I found that were helpful for me in growing the sense of self, understanding the concepts and applying. So I have two of them. The first is from Nathaniel Branden, who is a psychologist who got on the concept of self-esteem early on in his career and sort of spent decades trying to understand all the different aspects of it and how you can grow it stronger. And here's a quote from Nathaniel Branden. Of all the judgments we pass in life, none is more important than the judgment we pass on ourselves. That judgment impacts every moment and every aspect of our existence. Our self-evaluation is the basic context in which we act and react, choose our values, set our goals, meet the challenges that confront us. Our responses to events are shaped in part by whom and what we think we are, our self-esteem. Now, that was very powerful in my life decades ago when I first came across it. And there is a limitation in that quotation in that it focuses on the thinking part, how we think about ourselves, our self-esteem. But the sense of self includes the feeling part as well. And the only focus on the self-esteem, which maybe psychiatrists tend to do or psychologists tend to do, would miss this other, actually more powerful part, how we feel about ourselves, our self-love. So that's the first quote I wanted to share. The second quote is by Joe Curt. And this is a little bit longer than that quote, but I find this very powerful because this gets into the feeling part as well. And I've seen a lot of people embrace this quotation. It is rewarding to find someone you like, but it is essential to like yourself. It is quickening to recognize that someone is good and decent human being, but it is indispensable to view yourself as acceptable. It is a delight to discover people who are worthy of respect and admiration and love. But it is vital to believe yourself deserving of these things. For you cannot live in someone else. You cannot find yourself in someone else. You cannot be given a life by someone else. Of all the people you will know in a lifetime, you are the only one you will never leave or lose. For the question of your life, you are the only answer. To the problems of your life, you are the only solution. So I know many people who look to find themselves in other people and other things, in their work, in their spouse, in their girlfriend, boyfriend, and that will never succeed. You have to be the answer to the questions in your life, the solution to the problems that you address. So these quotes were helpful for me to get to the point where I was able to formulate this program. So you can look at these quotations as contributing building blocks to the foundation on which this program is built. So I'm encouraging you to go and find, you can embrace these quotes, you can find others as well, and share them, and put some more bricks in the wall of this program. Thank you for your time. Toodles.